Hello guys, how are you all? Welcome to my channel, Cracking IELTS 9.0. Today I'll be discussing Cambridge 15 Test 2 Reading Passage 1. As you can see, the heading says, Could urban engineers learn from dance? These are the first set of questions. These are nothing but match the information. We have 6 questions on that. And later we have fill-ups with only one word. So without wasting any time, let's dive into the passage. And the approach to match the information questions is we need to read the passage one by one and try to match the passage with any of these questions. That will be an easy way. So reading all the questions from 1 to 6 and then checking in all the passages will waste a lot of time. So it's better we do the vice versa. So let's read the paragraph A and try to understand whether there is any answer among these 6 questions. Okay, let's start. The way we travel around cities has a major impact on whether they are sustainable. Transportation is estimated to account for 30% of energy consumption in most of the world's most developed nations. So lowering the need for energy using vehicles is essential for decreasing the environmental impact of mobility. Okay. But as more and more people move to cities, it is important to think about other kinds of sustainable travel too. The ways we travel affect our physical and mental health, our social lives, our access to work and culture, and the air we breathe. Engineers are tasked with changing how we travel around cities through urban design, but the engineering industry still works on the assumptions that led to the creation of energy consuming transport systems we have now. The emphasis placed solely on efficiency, speed, and quantitative data. We need radical changes to make it healthier, more enjoyable, and less environmentally damaging to travel around cities. So this is the paragraph A. Now let's match any information with the questions. So first one, a reference to an appealing way of using dance that the writer is not proposing. No, there's nothing mentioned about dance in this passage, right? So this cannot be the answer. An example of a contrast between past and present approaches to building. No, we did not come across any contrast between past and present, right? So it is not matching with A. Mention of an objective of both dance and engineering. No, we did not come across any objective. So let's move to the next one. Reference to an unforeseen problem arising from ignoring the climate. No, we did not see any unforeseen problem because of ignoring climate here, right? So next one, why some measures intended to help people are being reversed. So he did not talk about any measures intended to help people, right? Next one, reference to how transport has an impact on human lives. This is interesting. So reference to how transport has an impact on human lives. I think these 3 words, they are matching with our passage, right? So how does this match? Let us see again. So this sentence, the ways we travel affect means impact, right? Affect our physical and mental health, our social lives, our access to work and culture, and the air we breathe. See, this sentence is matching exactly, right? So how transport means the ways we travel, impact means effect on human lives. So reference, so that is the reference given in this passage. So this sentence is exactly matching with the 6th one, right? So 6th answer should be A. Okay, so this sentence is matching with the paragraph A. Clear, guys? Let's move to the next passage now. It's B. Right. Dance might hold some of the answers. That is not to suggest everyone should dance their way to work, however healthy and happy it might make us, but rather that the techniques used by choreographers to experiment with and design movement in dance could provide engineers with tools to stimulate new ideas in city making. Richard Sennett, an influential urbanist and sociologist who has transformed ideas about the way cities are made, argues that urban design has suffered from a separation between mind and body since the introduction of the architectural blueprint. Okay. Okay, so what does he talk about here? Let's look at the questions now. A reference to an appealing way of using dance that the writer is not proposing. Wow. So yes, he talked about dance in this passage and something the writer is not proposing. This is key, guys. I'll show you. Look at the first sentence. Dance might hold some of the answers. That is not to suggest everyone. What do you mean by this? That is not to suggest everyone means the writer is not proposing should dance their way to work, however healthy and happy it might make us, means this is an appealing way, however healthy and happy it might make us, but rather the techniques used by the choreographers to experiment with the design movement in dance could provide engineers with tools to stimulate new ideas in city making. So this is healthy and happy it might make us is the appealing way, but the author is not proposing, is not to suggest everyone. That is the key word, guys. So what does it mean? It means the sentence 1 is matching with paragraph B, right? So B is our answer. Let's move to the next paragraph, C. Okay. Whereas medieval builders improvised and adapted construction through their intimate knowledge of materials and personal experience of the conditions on a site, building designs are now conceived and stored in media technologies that detach the designer from the physical and social realities they are creating. While the design practices created by these new technologies are essential for managing the technical complexity of the modern city, they have the drawback of simplifying reality in the process. Okay, so here is talking about some medieval builders, right? What do you mean by medieval? Means in the Middle Ages or prehistoric builders, right? So let's see. Check the answers questions now. Okay. So what does C say? An example of a contrast between past and present approaches to building. I think this one is matching, right? So example of contrast. So there is a contrast between past and present approaches. So how does this justify? I'll show you guys. Look at this. I just told you medieval builders means the prehistoric or the in the Middle Ages, the ancient builders. Okay. Building designs are now conceived. Now means he's talking about the present situation, right? This is the present situation. So there is a comparison between medieval builders and builders now. Building designs are now conceived and stored in media technologies. Okay, so in the paragraph C, he is giving whereas means the word whereas is comparing two time periods, the past and the present. So by looking at these type of words, we need to guess, guys. Okay, we need to catch the answer. So whereas medieval builders improvised, whereas the modern builders are now conceived and stored data in media technologies. Okay, so C is matching, C paragraph is matching with the second one, right? So 2 should be C. Right, next one. Let's move to the next paragraph, that is D. So slowly we are making progress, right? Okay, let's read the D paragraph. To illustrate, Sennett discusses the Peachtree Center in Atlanta, USA, a development typical of the modernist approach to urban planning prevalent in the 1970s. Peachtree created a grid of streets and towers intended as a new pedestrian-friendly downtown for Atlanta. According to Sennett, this failed because its designers had invested too much faith in computer-aided design to tell them how it would operate. They failed to take into account that purpose-built street cafes could not operate in the hot sun without the protective awnings common in older buildings and would need energy consuming air conditioning instead, or that its giant car park would feel so unwelcoming that it would put people off getting out of their cars. What seems entirely predictable and controllable on screen has unpredicted results when translated into reality. Wow. Here, awnings means the protective covers, guys, that we can see in the buildings. That is just like a shade protecting the cars or protecting the windows or doors. Okay. So let's match this with our questions now. Third one, what does it say? Mention of an objective of both dance and engineering. No, but did not read anything about dance in this passage, right? Next, reference to an unforeseen problem arising from ignoring the climate. Ignoring the climate. Some unforeseen problem. Let's see. See, the sentence starting from here. They failed to take into account means this is the unforeseen problem. Unforeseen. That purpose-built street cafes could not operate in the hot sun. This is the climate. Ignoring the hot sun. They ignored the hot sun. Climate without the protective awnings common in older buildings and would need energy consuming air conditioning instead. So this is the problem. Okay. And our the car parking is so unwelcoming as well. So this statement, they failed to take into account, means they did not see this problem coming, this unforeseen problem, and this could not operate in the hot sun, so they ignored the climate. So D is clearly matching with 4, right? So answer for 4 should be D. Okay, so let's move on to the next paragraph, that is E. Same is true in transport engineering, which uses models to predict and shape the way people move through the city. Again, these models are necessary, but they are built on specific world views in which certain forms of efficiency and safety are considered and other experiences of the city ignored. Designs that seem logical in models appear counterintuitive in the actual experience of their users. The guardrails that will be familiar to anyone who has attempted to cross a British road, for example, were an engineering solution to pedestrian safety based on models that prioritize the smooth flow of traffic. Okay, on wide major roads, they often guide pedestrians to specific crossing points and slow down their progress across the road by using staggered access points to divide the crossing into two, one for each carriageway. In doing so, they make crossings feel longer, introducing psychological barriers greatly impacting those that are the least mobile, and encouraging others to make dangerous crossings to get around the guardrails. These barriers don't just make it harder to cross the road, they divide communities and decrease opportunities for healthy transport. As a result, many are now being removed, causing disruption, cost, and waste. Wow, we had a lengthy paragraph here. So is this matching with any of the questions given? Let's see. So mention of an objective of both dance and engineering. No, we didn't come across dance and engineering together here. Next, the remaining one is why some measures intended to help people are being reversed. Yes, we read something about this, right? What are the measures that are intended to help people? The guardrails, right? See the guardrails, okay? They often guide pedestrians to specific crossing points and slow down their progress. So all these things, they are the advantages of the guardrails. So they make crossings feel, in doing so, they make crossings feel longer, introducing psychological barriers greatly impacting those that are least mobile, and encouraging others to make dangerous crossings to get around the guardrails. These barriers don't just make it harder to cross the road, they divide the communities and decrease the opportunities for healthy transport. It means guardrails are intended to help people, but they are not helping them. Okay, so they become dangerous crossings. Okay, the crossing had become harder and they divide the communities and decrease the opportunity for healthy transport. All these things they are getting reversed, but guardrails they are intended to help people, right? So fifth one should be E, right guys? So let's move on to the next passage. If their designers had the tools to think with their bodies like dancers and imagine how these barriers would feel, there might have been a better solution. In order to bring about fundamental changes to the ways we use our cities, engineering will need to develop a richer understanding of why people move in certain ways and how this movement affects them. Choreography may not seem an obvious choice for tackling this problem, yet it shares with engineering the aim of designing patterns of movement within limitations of space. Okay. It is an art form developed almost entirely by trying out ideas with the body and gaining instant feedback on how the results feel. Choreographers have deep understanding of the psychological, aesthetic, and physical implications of different ways of moving. Wow, we had a great paragraph there. So the only left one is 3. Is it matching or not? Mention of an objective of both dance and engineering. Yes, we came across both dance and engineering. Was there an objective mentioned? Let's see. Okay, let's read this statement again. Choreography may not seem an obvious choice for tackling this problem, yet it shares with engineering. Means choreography shares with engineering the aim of designing patterns. Aim means the objective, right? Aim, objective, goal. Okay. Aim of designing patterns of movement within limitations of space. So dance, okay, shares with engineering the objective. So F is clearly matching with 3. Mention of an objective about dance and engineering. So 3 should be F. Okay, so let's move on to next set of questions now. Here we have fill up, guys. So read the instructions. It says one word only, so we have to use only one word. Okay, so this one is about guardrails, right? So guardrails were introduced on British roads to improve the dash of pedestrians, okay, while ensuring that the movement of dash is not disrupted. Okay, we are interested in the keyword British roads to improve the dash of pedestrians. So these are our keywords to catch the answer. So let's read the paragraph E again. So let's read from here now. So the guardrails will be familiar to anyone who has attempted to cross a British road. For example, where an engineering solution to pedestrian safety based on models that prioritize the smooth flow of traffic. Wow. So pedestrians is the keyword we are looking. British is the keyword we are looking. So what do you think is the answer? For example, where an engineering solution to pedestrian safety based on the models. So safety, he is talking about the safety, right? So guardrails introduced on British roads to improve the safety, clearly. Safety of the pedestrians, while ensuring that the movement of dash is not disrupted. The movement is the keyword and is not disrupted is one more keyword. Let's catch the answer. So safety based on models that prioritize smooth flow of traffic. Not disrupted means smooth flow, right? Okay, that prioritize means improve the smooth flow of traffic. So while ensuring that the movement of traffic should be our answer. Traffic is not disrupted. Not disrupted means smooth flow. So this is the synonym given there. So we have to match the synonyms in the questions and in the passage. Then only we'll get the right answer, guys. Okay. So what's the next one? Pedestrians are led to access points and encouraged to cross one dash at a time. To cross one dash at a time. Okay, let's look at it. On wide major roads, they often guide pedestrians to a specific crossing points and slow down their progress across the road by using staggered access points. to divide the crossing into two, one for each carriageway. Wow, I think we got the answer. Did you get it, guys? So what does this say? There are few access points and slow down the progress across the road by using staggered access point, and to divide the crossing into two, one for each carriageway, means crossing one carriageway at a time. Yes. So it means and encouraged to cross one carriageway. Encouraged to cross one carriageway at a time. Okay, so what's the next one? An unintended effect is to create psychological difficulties in crossing the road, particularly for less dash people. So what are the keywords? Less is one keyword, people is a keyword, psychological difficulties is one more keyword, right? So let's look for that. In doing so, they make crossings feel longer, introducing psychological barriers, greatly impacting those that are the least mobile. Wow. Those means people, least mobile. Introducing psychological barriers means psychological difficulties. So what do you think is the answer? So an unintended effect to create psychological difficulties in crossing the roads, particularly for dash people. For less means least, right? So least is the synonym for less. So less mobile people means people who move very slowly. Mobile means moving. So the less mobile people, okay? Right. Another result is that some people cross the road in a dash way. Another result, he's talking about another result. Let's look at that. Okay. So, and encouraging others to make dangerous crossings to get around the guardrails. Wow. So get around means people crossing the guardrails, right? Get around means people cross the road in a dash way to make a dangerous crossing. Okay, so what is the answer? What do you think is the answer, guys? Dangerous way. Okay, and make it more difficult to introduce forms of transport that are dash. He's talking about forms of transport now that are dash. So something is make it more difficult. Let's see what it is. These barriers don't just make it harder to cross the road, they divide the communities, decrease opportunities of healthy transport. Make it more difficult means decreasing the opportunities. Okay. So make it more difficult means decreasing the opportunities to introduce forms of transport that are healthy. Healthy transport. We all need healthy transport, right? So decrease opportunities for healthy transport. So healthy is our answer. Okay. So that is the end of first passage, guys. I hope I'm clear. I hope you guys don't have any doubts. In case if you have any doubts, please comment in the comment section. I'll be more than happy to clear your doubts. Please do not forget to like, share and subscribe my video. This would be extremely helpful for IELTS aspirants. If you can follow my tips and strategies, I am sure that you can score more than 8 bands in the IELTS reading module. So until next time, goodbye, have a great day.